A couple of things. We already talked about Bernard Gooden, but just for the sake of the show. Guys, Bernard Gooden had 3 tackles for loss and a sack today in both 11-on-11 periods. Let's see if this continues to happen. It is day 1. There are no pads on. It is the first day that Josh Thompson has been at right guard for LSU in a starting 1v1 role. I have absolutely no idea what to make of it. But there are 4 plays that we have, 3 in the run game, where he is absolutely explosive off the ball. And I'll tell you this, the 3rd tackle for loss in one of the 11-on-11 team periods, he got off the ball so quickly and into the backfield on a swim move on Josh Thompson that Blake Baker came running from the sideline screaming, hell yeah, that's the way to get off the ball. That's the way to get off the ball. I mean, went berserk. Bernard Gooden came out there and made a statement today. Like it, love it, or hate it, guys, if you're standing on the sidelines and you're watching things go down and you're watching practice and this new defensive tackle from the portal in South Florida comes in and you're in a situation where the first time that you see him on 11-on-11, literally the first time, the first play, and the first thing that he does is get a sack, you're going to say to yourself, oh, shit, okay. All right, let's see what happens again. And then you go into another 11-on-11 period, and he's got 3 tackles for loss. Guys, I think he had today, which is day 1. Again, can't emphasize this enough. Let's see what happens. Have no clue what's going to happen. That is something. Okay, sticks out. When pads come on Saturday, if you do it again, we have a serious conversation that we got to have. What happens at guard, what's going on with Josh Thompson, is Bernard Gooden going to get some run here? Do you need to find him a spot on certain situations? But Bernard Gooden today just clearly stood out because of the plays that he made. The offensive line, we talked about it earlier, the unit of Adams, Chester, Moore, Thompson, and Davis. I thought in a lot of pass pro situations today with the first unit, they stood strong and they were firm. The second team unit did not, but I felt like the first unit did not do bad. Like it was not an overall bad day from the entire collective unit. Josh Thompson had some bad plays. The overall collective unit, I thought in the first team period and parts of the second team period stood strong. I thought Tyree Adams looked good on Patrick Payton. I thought Gabe Rutherford tried to give Weston Davis a lot of issues, and he wasn't having it, and there were a lot of really big plays. So that's your starting 5 as of today. I'm sure we'll come out here tomorrow with another practice report and say, hey, things have changed. That is your starting 5 offensive line. Second team offensive line got abused. And God forbid we get some guys hurt along that offensive line. I don't know what they're going to do. Carius Kern, the very talented interior offensive lineman out of Arkansas, is still at left tackle. The 2 things that it tells me is that I don't think that they feel that they have a guy athletic enough that can handle being at left tackle outside of Carius Kern. And I didn't see Callaway. I didn't see any of the other guys, Ori Williams. I didn't see any of them. So let's see how that transpires, and we'll see. I think you do 57 a disservice leaving him at tackle. I think he needs to go in and guard. And if you have a situation where Bernard Gooden continues to make plays, well, we got a conversation to have. Do you bring in Paul Mabenga and move Chester over to right guard? Do you give Carius Kern a chance here? That's what I would want. I want 57. I want to see what 57 can do in the interior. It's just an opinion. But they held up well. Let's see what happens when the pads start coming on, if they can continue to run the football here and they can make some good things happen. But those, from an upfront standpoint, the things that stood out to me. The edge room, Gabe Rutherford, Patrick Payton, and Jamari Butler had a day. They just did in pass pro. Patrick Patrick Payton got a couple of pressures on Garrett at the end of it there. The Tyron Francis play that we couldn't see. Me and John Eads of WAFB were talking about this because they're walking us out. I would have given Patrick Payton a sack on Tyree Adams, if I'm being honest. Again, can't tell. But I would have personally said in a live game situation, it's a sack. Me and John Eads are walking into the facility. And on Weston Davis, Gabe Rutherford hits a dip and rip move and looks like Garrett gets sacked. He tries to throw a fade route. We can't see the fade route, but it looks like he gets sacked. Guys, this defensive line unit, this entire unit, regardless for better or worse, they're going to run a lot of different rotational pieces out there. They're going to do a lot of different things at edge. They're going to do a lot of different things in the interior of the defensive line. And Brian Kelly said today in his press conference, listen, when we're talking about our staff and we're talking about coordinators, we had to go give Blake Baker some tools to work with. We didn't give him enough tools to work with a season ago. You gave him some tools and him and Kevin Peoples tools at edge because they got him. As this camp continues to go on, as we're out there tomorrow and as we're out there on Saturday, I am very, very intrigued to see what happens. When these pads start coming on, are you going to be back in a situation where, hey, man, the way that we kicked off or left the end of spring with the offensive line giving up 6 sacks and a half, is that a lot of the same things that you see? Or is this offensive line okay, but this edge unit and this defensive line is as good as we think that they could be? Because when you see this edge room, it's as impressive as any in the country. Your two backups right now are Jamari Butler, potentially Jack Pyburn on how they use him, maybe Gabe Rutherford. I don't know. I mean, Patrick Payton was running with the twos. Guys, Patrick Payton, who had double-digit sacks in a year when they blistered our ass. I mean, guys, he's different, man. If that young man puts it all together, things are going to be different at edge. Third thing that stood out to me. Number 4, Brian Kelly brought this up, and he brought it up twice. Guys, this wide receiver room is very deep. They got talent upon talent upon talent upon talent. They got speed upon speed upon speed. The way that they rotated the receivers today, there was a lot of different combinations between 4, 5, 6 guys that now I think will be 7. As they start to dwindle down this room of guys that will run majority of these plays, there are going to be some specific formations and situations where there's going to be a 3 different combination of wide receivers. The best way that I can explain it is, remember during the prime Drew Brees, Sean Payton days, when in those days you would see different formations for different situations with different personnel at receiver, whether it's Lance Moore, Devery Henderson, regardless of who it was, regardless. And you did different things with different receivers based off of formation and the play that you're calling. Different base packages that, remember, Sean Payton talked about this, where he'd say, India, India, India. And a different form of formation of receivers that maybe not your 3 best receivers would run out there, but a different formation and combination based off of what you're trying to do. That is what LSU is doing at receiver right now. I have seen during spring and I have seen during fall camp in day 1, there had to have been probably 7 to 8 different receivers in different formations in different situations. Guys, they are, I don't want to say they're loaded, but they got some serious speed and guys that can play. Tyron Francis made a really ridiculous catch on a 5-star today that was beautiful. Chris Hilton, Barry Brown, what does Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, when he's in here healthy and he's going in 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 tomorrow, what does he provide? Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, which Brian Kelly said, listen, we know what Aaron Anderson is. We're not trying to get him hurt. And I respect that. And Aaron made some ridiculous catches in one-on-ones. Bottom line remains, guys, they are loaded, I feel like, at receiver. And Garrett's got a lot of toys to play with. He's got a lot of weapons to throw to. So I know BK brought it up, and I guess we can even talk about it. He talked about Nick Anderson being in the concussion protocol. He talked about the wide receiver room. It's like, look, man, our biggest advantage is we're going to try to take the top off of defenses. Good. That means that you got to go into some really light boxes and hope your offensive line stands up. But guys, they got wide receiver depth for days. BK said he felt like he had 8 receivers that they can roll in and out of there. That's an exact quote. Guys, I don't know if he's wrong because 8 rolled in and out of there today. They're deep there, man. A lot of guys with a lot of intrigue. Let's see what comes of it. Javian Toviano gave up an inside slot fade to Chris Hilton. This is interesting in an opinion. When Javian Toviano gave up the slot fade for 35 on Chris Hilton, A.J. Halsey from Houston came in. They wasted 0 time. I just think that they're not playing games. If you're getting beat, you're going out. And if you get beat, you better be right there making plays and just say, hey, man, we're going to chalk it up. That guy's a little bit better than me, but we're making the play. LSU ran a lot of cover 1 today. And it's not necessarily the simplest when the entire offense and the quarterback and the OC knows what you're running. But they were making some plays. A.J. Halsey got in there very quickly, and I was wondering how quickly his emergence would happen. But safety room had some situations where Jake Olsen, Blake Baker didn't like it, and Jashawn Spears and A.J. Halsey came in there pretty quickly for Tamarcus Cooley, who gave up a drag route earlier in the day and just got beat by Xavion Thomas. Next play, Jashawn Spears was in there, and Cooley was out. I don't think that the starting unit of Toviano, Cooley, and Jordan Gilbert, I think, when they were in there, they were quickly out. I've seen today from some media saying Cooley had a great day. I have no idea where they're getting that from. We'll see. Hopefully he does, but I wouldn't call it a big day. 2 more things here. Harold Perkins. Guys, with LSU moving Perkins to star, what you're really running is an abbreviated 4-3 defense. You got a lot of guys that want to come and attack in the running game. Today, when Perk was not in coverage and didn't almost pick a play off, which he did almost do in 7-on-7, they are sending him a lot off the edge. A lot. Number 7 is blitzing off that slot position a lot. I'm going to hold off on Perk because I think the guy that I saw today looked very explosive, looked very good, did some good things in coverage. There were a lot of plays today when him coming from that slot position and that star position where my man is going full throttle after number 13 and trying to disrupt this run game. I need to see more to make a determination. But you are basically running, when he is in there, an abbreviated or whatever you want to call it. I know you want to call it a 4-2-5 defense. Guys, it's a 4-3. I mean, you're just doing different things with it. If you notice today, I did not say one time that Trey'Dez Green or Bauer Sharp caught a pass outside of the middle screen to Bauer Sharp. That is because Harold Perkins locked them down in coverage. They did not have a good day. I think Trey'Dez Green is too athletic of a freak to not start getting involved here. They did not have a catch. Not one. Perk looked good today, man. If you are going to send him off that edge as much as you did today in day 1, what you're going to do in the real season. So, like what I saw from Perk. Last but not least, opinion on running back. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of them. I thought Caden Durham looked a little bit more explosive than what he was at the end of the season. Fully healthy, ready to go. Keep number 29 upright. A lot of plays that they were given today were blown up, and they couldn't make a play because of really good defense. I need to see more because we got to focus in on this running game and see what happens. But really good stuff today, I guess, from the running backs based off of what they were given, but we'll see. If you're asking me my determining overall factor in all of this, the three biggest things that I walk away from this are simple. What's going to continue to happen along this offensive line? What is going to continue to happen with this defense? Are they starting to find their own? Is the talent that they have acquired and brought in as good as we think that it can be? I thought you had some really good coverage, even though Garrett made some ridiculous throws. You have a good quarterback making a ridiculous throw. What do you want to do about it? I think this offensive line continues to be the biggest storyline because in day one, you didn't give me any semblance of like, hey, man, it shouldn't be a worry for you. And we go back out there tomorrow and we figure it out. I say this a lot in baseball when we're doing the post-game shows for baseball. Every single game is a one-game sample size. Every single one of them. So when we're talking about this and we're talking about LSU, in these practice reports, guys, we will give you our overall opinion, but it's a one-day sample size thing. You got to break practice reports down by a one-day sample size and then go from there. How many guys, how many dudes really stood out in multiple days, and you go from there. But I think the offensive line continues to be something that we monitor, and we go from there. Garrett Nussmeier, and I kind of wanted to end the day on this because I thought that your starting quarterback in day one looked very sharp. I thought that Garrett made some absolutely ridiculous throws. I thought that they were put in spots where only his guys could catch it. And in some instances, he had some athletic freaks that made some athletic freaky plays. He's got a lot of speed at wide receiver. He's got man-child that can go up on DJ Pickett and make a play that he does. Garrett looked sharp. Some balls did hit the ground at the end of team period, and that's okay. But if Garrett keeps compiling days on top of days and not turning the ball over and looking the way that he did today, guys, all right, maybe we're cooking with grease here. Thought he looked fantastically sharp. I thought a couple of things that were very interesting to me. There were some times where him and Joe Sloan were barking at one another, and Garrett Nussmeier's control that he was taking was fine. I like the level of control of him telling Sloan, hell no. If Chris Hilton is one-on-one in the slot with Javian Toviano and he's running a fade route, I'm throwing it. They were barking at one another. Garrett had full command. No, no, no. Sloan was yelling stuff out, and he goes, no, 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 we're doing this. Bam, hitch route, heel, 9. He's going to be out there on the field for you. And I want him making these checks now and doing the things he's doing now because when you get in the game, it's going to be very relative. Last but not least, in addition of this, in the sharpness of Garrett Nussmeier, one thing that I thought was very pertinent today was in every single play that they ran outside of one period, what they called, I think, NASCAR or something, and they're just running plays on plays. Every time in 11-on-11, they went to a huddle. And I call it a huddle, an abbreviated huddle. That signifies to me that there's a team that wants to establish the run game and wants to establish it early. New couple little wrinkles. let's see what they do here in that. But bottom line, I thought to end this, as we take a couple of questions here as we leave, I thought that Garrett looked really good. I thought he looked sharp. If I'm being real with you, it was one of the better practices that I'd seen him have. Look good. We'll see. Can you continue to compile it will be the big deal here. All right. Couple of quick notes here. Brian Kelly did talk today and spoke with the media and gave a couple of updates. I just suggest you to go listen to it for yourself. But I thought the Don McKinley quote from him was really big, saying that we ran out of weights for him to squat over 650. Dude's got a lot of talent. I hope so. Let's hope Big Don makes that second-year leap. And if you're that strong, man, I mean, let's see what you can do there. Also just talked about the depth of wide receivers, saying the growth for Garrett Nussmeier is a lot of mental and being tactical and doing the right things and knowing when to just eat a play and live for another day. Yeah,